Hi there, it's Pam Carr back here from Caraway Crochet to show you how to make a tea cozy. I'm calling it a rustic tea cozy because I'm using this hand spun yarn. It's Romney and alpaca mix blend, and I was gifted this and I wanted to use it to make something pretty special. So I'm using it to make a tea cozy, and this is one side of the tea cozy. So I'm going to show you how to make the sides. You only need to make two, and then I'll give you the instructions on how to put it together. So along with your yarn, you don't have to use hand spun. I'm estimating this is about, it goes thinner and thicker, so I'm saying it's a 4-weight yarn, worsted weight. So I'm using an eye hook just to accommodate when it gets to the chunkier bits of homespun. But you can use the eye hook as well if you're using worsted weight yarn, or Aran in the UK if you're in the UK. A pair of scissors, and I have a needle here somewhere. I've got a little yarn needle. I don't know where I've put it. Okay, so those are the things that you're going to need to make your tea cozy. Okay, so we're going to start off by chaining 28. So we need to make a slip knot, and I like to pull it over and pull it over again and put my hook through, and that's my slip knot. So these are pretty easy to make. You just, oh, there's my needle. I've just seen it. Ta-da! The yarn needle. Okay, so I'm going to chain 28 for the panel. This is one panel because we need to sew two together and leave a hole for the spout to come out of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to chain 28. The thing with homespun yarn is you can get thin sections like this, and then it goes later on to be quite chunky. Here you can see how it gets thicker, and depending on what blends wool yarn they're putting together, and so that makes for a really nice texture, and also you get color changes happening. So if you can find someone who makes hand spun yarn or hand dyed, this was also looks like it's been hand dyed, so it's a really special yarn. So I've chained 28. Now I'm going to half double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So I'm going to count 1, 2, and then yarn over your hook, go into the second chain from the hook, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through all 3 pieces of yarn. Okay, and half double crochet into the next one. This means, because we've got into the second chain from the hook, that we will be ending up with 27 stitches at the end of this row. Okay, you can see how I'm in a thicker section here. Started off with a skinny piece, and now we're getting into the thin section. So it's never boring when you're using homespun yarn, especially when they're blending like the Romney with alpaca. So I'm excited. Oh, here we go. We've got, see, this is why I wanted to use an eye hook, because we've got a thick section there. Okay, so go all the way across, and you should end up with 27 half double crochets. Okay, and I'll show you what to do when we get to the end. So here we are at the end. So we've just got this one chain left here. So we're going to go in there, and we should have 27. So you'll see that when we look at this one, it goes up and down like a little ridges, little hills. And that's created by half double crocheting into the back loop only. So when you look at your, we're going to chain 1 and turn. When we do this second row, if you look at the top here, you can see there's these V's going all the way down. And normally we would be making our half double crochet, put the yarn over, and we would be going in between both of these stitches, right? And we would have 2. They're called like ladders on it. But we are just going to work into the back loop only. So that's the back loop. I hope you can see that the light's okay. So we've got like a V, a little, and we're going into the back loop only, but we have to put a yarn over first because we want to make a half double crochet. And then if you tip it so that you're not looking at it sideways but at the top, then you get to look down and you can see that where the back loop is. Put your hook into the back loop. Sorry, I'm off camera. Yarn over, pull it up, go through, pull it through the 3. Then tip it again, look at the top, yarn over, go into the next one, back loop only. And this is what makes the ribbed effect. Okay, so we're going to go all the way down and we should end up with 27. So count as you go, okay? And now we're at the end, so we're going to go into 25. Back loop only, 25. Back loop only. Here, it's a bit fiddly. 26. And then right at the end, you're going to go right into that last little loop that was when we skipped a chain stitch. We went into the second one from the hook. So we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn it. And I really advise counting all the time because sometimes I manage to lose a stitch. The thing is, at the beginning, you always have to check. Did I chain 1? Yes, I did. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and then go in, right, make sure that you go right into the first. You have to tip it on the side. See how you can see those nice little V's there, and make sure that you go into the first one. And half double crochet, yarn over, into the back, half double crochet, 1, and then look at the next one, 2, 3, always into the back loop. And you can see that we're starting to get those little ridges. Okay, so all the way down. We are going to do 18 rows. Okay, we've done 2. This is the start of row 3. You're going to do 18 rows, and we will meet you back at the end of 18 rows. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how we count our rows so we know when we've got up to 18 stitches, okay, 18 rows rather, because we want our sides to be the same. So this is row 1, and then when it goes down the hill here, that's row 2, right? So if we count each of these 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, and then we've got the beginning of going up. That's row 17, so we need to go down for row 18, okay? So I'm going to do that. And at the end, 23. This is row 18, 24. 26. Like I say, that last one goes right into the end of the row before. 27. Now when I cut this off, I leave it long tail so that we can use it for sewing the sides together. And what you'll notice is now we can go up and down the hill. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. And we have the finishing thread is at the top here. And the starting thread is there. We were working up this way, right? But when we're going to be sewing it together as a tea cozy, we're going to put it this way, okay? So we're going to lay it with the right sides together. So that means we're going to have one facing that way and one facing this way, okay? And that way when we join them together, the hills will kind of work out the same. Here's where we need our tape measure. You can have any kind of tape measure or ruler that you need. And we're going to measure up from the bottom 2 inches on each side, 2 inches, okay? So I'm going to put my hook through here just for a marker because I don't have anything else to do that with right now. And we are going to attach the yarn using a yarn needle. We're going to attach well, we've actually got some yarn that we've left over as a tail, right? So we're going to thread that through a yarn needle, and we're going to start to whip stitch up 2 inches from the bottom. Okay, so I've got it here, going into the corners, join the corners, and we're going to whip stitch, which means this is where I had to tie some yarn together. We go through the back and the front, from the back, and we pull it through, in from the back, into the front, matching up the stitches. And we're going to keep going, whip stitching this up to 2 inches. And then when we get up to the 2-inch point, we want to make sure that we go over, under several times and weave in the ends really tightly, because we don't want this part to come apart. This is going to be the bottom leading up to the handle and the bottom leading up to the spout. Okay, so I'd like you to go away and sew up the bottom 2 inches on either side. What I mean by that is I've gone through here 2 or 3 times from the front to the back, and then I'm going to weave this yarn down through the seam, pull it through, and then I'm going to go back through the seam. If your yarn gets short like that, you can just thread your needle through to weave it through, and then you can thread it here so we can cheat. You can start with a longer piece if you want, but I had some left. You see, there's still room to thread that back again. So now I'm going to thread it back through there. So that's been threaded 3 times, 3 different directions. Here we go. We're just going to wrap it over the needle and pop it through that eye, and there we go. Okay, these are 2, as I say, I cut it early and I realized I needed an extra row, so I'm going to weave those ends in. So that's 2 inches up on this side, and now I'm going to go on to the other side and measure 2 inches up, and I'm going to sew up to that point. Okay, I'm going to mark it here with my hook. I can just pop it in there, and that gives me a marker. And then I've got another tail, and I'm just going to thread that tail, whip stitch front from the back going through to the front, over and over, all the way up. Those are 2 corners joined, and then I'm just going to go back to front a few times at the beginning to make it super strong, because you're going to be stretching it over your tea cozy, right? This is for a 20-inch in circumference, but I've made it for, it does stretch onto bigger ones. They because they're ribbed like this, they're very forgiving, and they're very adaptable to different sizes of tea cozies. It can go anything from 18 up to over 20. I think the one that I'm just doing is just over 20. I'll put it on the teapot and show you later. So I'm going to go up to where the hook is and fasten off as before, weaving in. I've got both the bottoms joined for the 2 inches at the bottom. And now we're going to go and work on the tops, which have also got long tails for doing any sewing that you need to do. As I said before, this stretches a lot and can adapt to different size teapots, around the 20-inch, 18 to 20, maybe it could go up to 22, who knows, because depending on your gauge and how much it stretches. But all these measurements that I'm giving you are sort of standard measurements that I've created for the pattern. But if your handle requires less or longer seams at the side, please feel free to work with whatever goes with your teapot. So I've attached my yarn here at the top corner here, and I'm going to go down, join the top to the front, and I'm going to go down 4 to 4.5 inches for a standard teapot. So I'm going to go down, joining the front to the back, whip stitching, or back to front, however you want to look at these stitches. But I'm matching the stitches up. You can see when I put my needle in that it's going through the front, the back, and the front stitches. Okay, so I'm going down, and because of the way we have created this with the even number of rows, when you open it up, the ribbing should be replicated. There shouldn't be an odd thing going on. So I'm going to sew down to 4. I'm going to go down to 4 inches. The reason I go 4 inches instead of 4.5 is because you can always add more stitches. It's harder if you have to rip them out because it doesn't work for you. So I'm going to fasten it off there and weave in my ends. I don't think I'm going to need to do any more, but you might, depending on the style of your teapot. Okay, I'm not going to cut it yet because in case I need to do a little bit more sewing. Now on this other side, it's going to be 3 inches. 3 inches to 4 inches approximately. So I'm going to go 3 inches because I'm doing the, this very fat teapot. It's kind of short and fat. It's hard to see, and I'll have to lift the camera up for you. So I'm going down 3 inches. The beautiful red teapot that I normally use, which is a really standard size teapot, is over at my daughter's, so I can't use that one as a one to fit it onto afterwards. So yes, I am starting at the corner, going from the back to the front, matching the stitches, and I'm going to go down 3 inches, okay? If you want to, you can put your 2 seams together like this, and then just match the stitches as you go from back to front, okay? Down for 3 inches. What I've done is I've put the handle through, and I've taken the lid off so it doesn't fall off, and the spout's coming through here. So that hole looks about the right size for the spout. It fits quite nicely there. And this one fits pretty perfectly for the handle. So 4 and 3 inches work really well for this. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to gather around all these stitches and gather it in to make the top. So when the lid is in, this will come in and will gather right over the top of the handle of your teapot. And then we're going to find a decoration to put on the top. Okay, so this is how it should be looking. I think that's a pretty beautiful looking tea cozy. So now I've threaded a long piece of yarn into my yarn needle, and we're going to start at one of the seams, and we're going to go up and down, do a running stitch through, probably like through each of the ends, you know, the joins of the row where you see the top. I'm just going to run it all the way through. Now I'm going to leave a little bit of an end so we can tie a knot when we get back to the other side, okay? So up and down through the top stitches. And because this is homespun yarn, hand spun yarn, there are variations in the thickness of the different yarns. I'm just running it through. Going it through, down, up, all the way around until you get to the end. Now here we are back. Oh no, we're not. We're at the other side. Now this is it. Yeah, we're back at the beginning. So I'm just going to pull it. And pull it, gather it, pull it as tight as you can, okay? And this is the wrong side of the tea cozy, right? Because this is the side that we're making our seams on, and we're going to be turning around and having it this way. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this tight. Tight as I can, and make a knot. So right there, off screen. Tie a knot as tightly as you can, and then you use your needle and you kind of go through, gathering the one side to the other side, pulling it through this side, through to the other side to make it as closed as you can. We are going to be disguising it. Some tea cozies I make, I put a pom-pom on the top, and some I do a fancy flower. My Christmassy one has a really cool flower that I made for that. This one, I'm going to do a different type of flower. So just do that as many times as you like till you feel like it's secure. And then kind of weave in the ends a few times because we don't want that coming undone. There we go. And we can cut those off. And now we can turn it right side out. So all the ends are sewn in. It's now right side out, so this is what it looks like at the top, so it'll be easier to sew the flower on. And I will put it on the tea cozy. I've lowered the camera again, but anyway, here we go. So this is how see how they stretch? They really stretch. So this is what it looks like at this point. And it clings in at the bottom because of the ribbing. It hugs the tea cozy. Okay, so we're going to go and start the flower. This kind of flower, you can make it in several colors, but I'm just going to use the one color that matches the tea cozy. So first of all, we have to make a magic circle, a magic ring. So how we do that is we wrap the yarn, I'm kind of pinching it here, and wrap it around this finger, cross it over back, and then pinch it. Now I'm going to put my hook under this first one and over the back one and pull that back one through. Now I'm just going to get this one and make a chain, and that is a magic circle. So as you see your finger sticking through there, and there's a tail and a loop there, and these two are still pinched here. Now I'm going to make I've chained one, so now I'm going to do 15 single crochets into here. That's right, I just want to make sure I'm doing it right here. So 15 single crochets. So that's one. See how I kind of just twist my head? So I'm going through the loop and the tail, picking up some yarn, pulling it through. That's 2 single crochets. Going back through the magic loop and that tail, always holding the tail alongside of the loop, going through, getting the yarn that's going over the back finger. 3, kind of have to keep twisting. 4, 5, 6, 7, we need 15, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, get them both, and 15. And now we can take our tail, that loose little tail, and pull it tight, and that kind of cinches it all together, which makes a nice little tight center for your flower. Okay? And we're going to slip stitch into the first single crochet. So we're going to find that first single crochet, go through both of them, make sure you're in the first one. Yeah, that's it, first one. And slip stitch together. You pull it through there and you pull it through there. All right, now we've got 15 single crochets, so we're going to do our next second round, which is where we chain 4 and we skip a single crochet and we double crochet into the next one. So we're going to look and we're going to skip that one and we're going to put a yarn over and single crochet into the next one. Double crochet into the next one. Sorry, that should be a double crochet. So we chained 4, we skipped the single crochet, and then we did a double crochet into the next single crochet. Now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to skip 1, and we're going to double crochet into the next one. And we're going to chain 1, and we're going to skip 1, and we're going to double crochet, yarn over, and double crochet into the next single crochet. We're going to do this all, skip 1, and there we go, into the next one. Okay, so we're going to go all the way around. That's a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and double crochet into the next. Go through both of the loops of that single crochet we're working into and do a double crochet, okay? So carry all the way around to the end. So here we are. I've slip stitched into the third chain of the chain 4 to make our circle here. I'll show you how that works, okay? We chained 4, skipped 1 and made a double crochet, chained 1, skipped 1, a double crochet all the way around until we get to the end. Now we're going to chain 1 and count up to the third chain of the beginning chain 4, and we're going to slip stitch into there like that. Okay, just going to make the light a bit better. Okay, so here we are. We're starting our third round of the flower, and we're going to make a single crochet into that chain 1 space, a double crochet into the same space, a triple crochet, which is where you wrap your yarn over twice, you go into the space, you pick up some yarn, pull it through once, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull it through 2. That's a treble. And then we're going to do a double into the same space. We're making a little petal here, and we're going to do a single all into that chain 1 space, and that's how it looks. Okay, now we're going to go to the next chain 1 space and we're going to do a single crochet and a double crochet. And a treble, which is where you go over twice into the chain 1 space, pick up some yarn, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull it through 2. And now we're going to do a double and then a single. So now we have 2 petals. Okay, now we're going to go into the next chain 1 space, single crochet, double crochet, treble crochet, pull it through 2, pull it through 2, pull it through 2, double crochet, and single crochet. And we're going to do that into each of these chain 1 spaces. A single, a double, a treble, a double, a single, all the way around till we get to the end. Now we've got to the end, we're going to single crochet, slip stitch into the first single crochet. So we're just going to put our hook in, pull it through, and pull it through. Okay, so that's the third round. Now the fourth round is going to be a little bit tricky, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a single crochet and chaining 4 around each double crochet of this second round. You see we've got these 8 spokes here. So we're going to tip our work over, okay, and then we're going to find one of those double crochets There we see that double crochet there from the second round in. You'll know that it looks like a wheel. And we're going to put our hook under there, and we're going to single crochet, pull it through, right? And we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to find the next double crochet. There it is. And we're going to single crochet into that double crochet, pull the yarn through, do the single crochet, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hold out your little wheel, and there's the next double crochet. So we're going to put our hook under there, just like that, grab some yarn, pull it through, and go through the 2 loops. That's a single crochet, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look for the next spoke on the wheel underneath. We're going to put our hook under that spoke, under that double crochet, pull the yarn through, and then pull it through the 2. And that's a single crochet, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at the back of your flower. This is where we're working, on the back of the flower. Find the next double crochet there. Put your hook under it. Wrap the yarn around, pull it through, and then go through the 2 loops on the hook. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to find the next double crochet. There it is. Put the hook underneath the double crochet, grab the yarn, pull it through, and go through the 2, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look for the next double crochet. There it is. Put your hook through it, yarn over the hook end, pull it through the 2, chain 4, don't forget to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's our next double crochet. We should be getting near the end now. Yarn over, pull it through 2, and chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and here we are back at the beginning. You can see where we started there, so we're just going to single crochet into that last loop like that, and then we're going to slip stitch into the first. I'm going to slip stitch into the bottom of that. Okay, now what we're going to do now is we're going to turn it back so that it's facing upwards, and all of those loops, those chain 4 loops, are all sitting here at the back. Okay, we have 8 chain 4 spaces all along the back now. So we're going to turn it around, and we're going to make a single crochet, a double crochet, 2 double crochets, back down, double crochet, single crochet into each of these. So we're going to be working around behind the row of petals, right? We're going to be working around these chain 4 spaces. So what we're going to start off with is a single crochet, a double crochet, 2 treble crochets. Oh, we have to wrap it twice over for a treble. I've got this thread at the back here. It's in the way. As if we haven't got enough to deal with here. Pull it through 2, pull it through 2, pull it through 2. That's 1 treble. Yarn over twice. Pull it through 2, pull it through 2, pull it through 2. Now a double. And now a single. Oops. Let's do our single. Okay, and then what we're going to do when we've completed that is we're going to go into the next chain 4 space and we're going to do a single and a double crochet. And then next we have 2 trebles. Yarn over twice into that chain 4 space, pull it through 2, pull it through 2, pull it through 2. Yarn over twice into that chain 4 space, pull the yarn up, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Now just a regular double crochet into the same chain 4 space and a single crochet into the same chain 4 space. And now we're going to move over to the next chain 4 space. And we're going to do a single, oops, sorry, a double, 1 treble, and a second treble. Yarn over twice, remember, for the trebles. Pull it through 2 at a time, 2 at a time, 2 at a time. Now a double crochet and a single crochet. We're going to go into each of our spaces and do that. A single, we're getting higher, it's making it taller so the petal gets taller, and when they lay down they sort of alternate on each other. Okay, so we're going to work into the next chain 4 space, a single, a double, 2 trebles, that's 1, that's 2, a double, and a single. And remember, if you can't remember the order, you can always stop it and go back. And I'm going to complete the rest of the chain 4 chains and I'll meet you at the end. Right, and when we get to the end, we're just going to slip stitch into our first single crochet there. Slip stitch. I'm going to leave a long end because I want to use this to sew it onto the tea cozy. Pull that through. And before you sew it on, you need to just weave in this other end at the middle here that's in the middle. Okay, so this is what our flower looks like. It's kind of beautiful, don't you think? I hope you can see that. There. And that's what's going to go on top of our tea cozy. So now I've got my flower made. Show you my flower. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to thread the needle and we're going to sew it on the top of the tea cozy to disguise this section here. Okay, so I'm just going to sort of pin that in there for now and take it off of the teapot. Going to make sure that the center of the flower, see that center, is right over the center. And then we've got a couple of threads there because this is where I'm just going to put it into the tea cozy and bring it out at the centerpiece here. Okay. And then I'm just going to go up and down right through to the bottom, sort of like sewing on a button. Bring it up through here, go down so that it's up again, and down. And then I'm going to fasten that off. Go through 2 or 3 times. Tie that off. And then I've got this starting thread here. So when I started, so I'm going to thread that right now. And I'm just going to go up through that bottom section here. I'm just going to go back into the Tea Cozy and up through another petal section, just to sort of weave that in, and it sort of ties it down a bit. Weave in the ends. And we can cut that one off. I like to pull it tight, then it sort of pops back in to the flower. And there we have our flower attached to our Tea Cozy. And I'm going to put it on the teapot. I like to thread in the spout and the handle. I'm a little teapot. There we go. Our Tea Cozy. I hope you like it. Please subscribe and like this video and share if you feel like sharing it. And thank you very much. I'm going to take it off and I'll lay it down flat so you can see it, what it looks like when it's laid down flat. There's the hole for the spout and the handle. And you can make it in any kind of worsted weight yarn you choose, and I used an eye hook. Okay, thank you very much.